TARDIS. I was actually a lot closer than I was actually planning for you to be. I feel a little bit encroached upon. Let me just push you back there a little bit. Oh. So hello and welcome. I just thought I'd go live. I just keep doing these things every now and again. I don't know why I do them. I hope this audio is working. Well, yeah, so I'm just going through my Morcombe footage right now, and I just thought, why not? I'll just throw it up on stream. You can see how messy my desk is from here. Cheap headphones. I have just been, it has just been non-stop editing lately. It's crazy how much stuff I have filmed over the last, few days, few weeks. And it's just not stopped. It's just not stopped in terms of editing, because you film it all and that's the fun bit. And editing is kind of fun, but then you've got to do it and that bit kind of sucks. So let's just close all this down. Look at this, just all this confidential information all up on my screen. There we go. So yeah, so I've just literally finished editing this one. And this is my trip to the destination show. And look, check it as the thumbnail for it. Because I spoke to some absolutely amazing stands whilst I was there. Out of this world stands. Just to explain what the destinations holiday show is, basically it's a holiday show. All the travel providers go there, they set up stands, they display all the holidays, but these aren't like your standard holidays that you get in the travel agents. These are like once in a lifetime bucket list holidays. So if you want to go and, cycle in Rwanda and then go see gorillas afterwards, then you book it through, one of these stall holders. Or if you want to go to Mount Everest and go to the base camp, or you want to go on like a bike and boat tour or ride the Danube like I did, all these things that aren't really your standard holidays. These are like your once in a lifetime, absolutely amazingly fantastic holidays. So yeah, I walked around the convention. I spoke to various different stands and stall holders. Absolutely, fantastic. I'll give you a preview of the video. It's not coming out until Monday the 9th. So I try and keep some things kind of held back a little bit. I don't show everything all at once because, that way I'm not constantly editing. But yeah, the people that were there, just out of this world, some of the stuff you can do. One of the first people I spoke to was this guy here, Ian Pennington, like Pen Pods. And they make these amazing little trailers that connect onto the back of your vehicle. And you've got like a bed in there, an oven, like everything you need basically to get out there into the wilderness. It honestly looks like something you'd see in Jurassic Park. That's what I kind of thought anyway when I saw it. But yes, I had a look around those, spoke to all the stall holders. That one's going to come out Monday the 9th of February. But I tell you, the one that has absolutely taken up all my time is this one. And this is my ghost tour of York. So I did a nighttime ride of York, went around the streets. I had a basic map and visited like every location that I could find that's haunted and went to it. And needless to say, I freaked myself out. So there's just a lot of that in the video, me being freaked out. But there's some amazing ghost stories as well. And the editing in this was like so intense. It just took me a lifetime to do this. So yeah. Oh, I can't wait for this. I'm really excited about this one. I'm learning the YouTube. Work doesn't necessarily, the amount of work you put into something doesn't necessarily mean how successful it's going to be. But in terms of like, enjoying filming and doing something, I had a great time doing this. It was so much fun. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one coming out. But yeah, some real spooky stuff in it. So I'm warning you, if you're easily scared, maybe this isn't the one for you. I'm just going to say that because I think it genuinely is in parts pretty scary, but that's just me. All right, okay, let's have a look. So yes, I thought I'd just talk through what I do when I have to edit a video. So these are all my folders here where I have all my bike rides saved down. Now, unfortunately, I'm running out of space. I don't have that much storage on this computer, so I have to delete stuff, unfortunately. But I've got a folder here for my 2024 rides, 2025 rides, and 2026. So I get everything in there. And this is my Morecambe to Blackpool, and this is my 360 footage. And then what I have to do is I thought this 360 camera is amazing. I love it. It's so good because you can like pop it on the front of your bike. It films all round. You can get your face, different directions. That's the great thing about this camera. The bad thing about this camera is when you have filmed something, you've got to put it into the DJI software. I'll just bring it up here. So you can see here, here's something I was filming, and it's like this, it's 360. So I've got to kind of scan all around and decide where I want to look. It looks like I didn't know what I was doing on this one. Let's find another one. Here we go. So yeah, I'm just doing my little piece to camera here on this one. So this is great, but this is like really intensive because I've got to take this into third-party software and decide what angle I want, what I want to show. Do I want this to move around? And then I've got all of these clips here, all these clips. Like I've got to go through all these and I've got to do that to each and every one. And that's before I even start editing the video together. So it just creates an insane amount of work. Let's have a look. What else have we got here? So Morecambe, yeah, I did Morecambe to Blackpool, and it was a strange one because I did a bit of research before going to Morecambe. I'll just check there's nobody chatting. There never is anybody chatting, but we'll see. Nope, nobody chatting. That's fine. Yeah, going to Morecambe. How do I get rid of this? Blah, go away. There we go. Right. Yeah, Morecambe was a very strange one. I did a bit of research before going there, and there's a lot of negativity about Morecambe on the internet. So that's kind of what I based the video around. So it's kind of going from what's supposedly a dead town and to a deadly town, which is Blackpool, which has like an insanely high death rate, poverty through the roof. So the places that I thought of quite negatively. And I think that's kind of how my Rochdale Canal video was interpreted, that it was a commentary on Rochdale itself. It wasn't. It was a commentary on the route of the canal. This one might turn into more of a commentary on those areas. And I was, you know, without ruining the video, right? So some of the stuff that said is true about Morecambe. There is certainly a lot of drug use taking place there, a lot of vandalism, a lot of antisocial behavior. That is definitely an issue in that area. However, I don't think it's as such that it overrides the experience of visiting Morecambe. There's like so much to do there. The day I went, if I can just maybe find some of the footage here, people were just happily walking along the seafront, enjoying themselves, having a nice day out. Let's have a look. Here we go. And it was just like a nice, quiet little town to visit. And it was peaceful. It was nice. The beach was clear and everyone was just out having a nice time on the front. It's kind of when you go like a few streets back from the front, it does start to fall apart a little bit. But, you know, overall, I was quite pleasantly surprised. And then I had really low expectations as well for the, so I'm just going to grab my drone here actually. Oh, that's my son there. They came along with us when I went on the trip just to have a day by the sea. They're not going to be in the video, but he loved it. He had a great time. He went to the Eric Morecambe statue, did a little dance next to it, copied his pose. So yeah, that was good. So yeah, I was really pleasantly surprised. There was a moment where I was filming one of the arcades and the shopkeeper came out to speak to me. I thought, oh my God, she actually came out. She came out with intent, shall we say. She wasn't that happy that I was filming her shop front. So I thought, great, here we go. I'm going to have another video where I'm having a confrontation with somebody and, and people are going to get upset with me. But then she turned out to be, you know, extremely nice, like a really nice lady. We had a chat and she talked about Morecambe and what her thoughts on it were. I think she felt it was negatively represented on YouTube and in other places as well, which was a shame. But she also felt it's like it's still a great place to go, and I agreed with a lot of what she said in terms of how nice the beach is. Everything's quiet, there's nice things to do on the fronts, provided you stay in the touristy area, fine. She did have a very kind of sad take on it though, in terms of what she felt was going on with the antisocial behavior. One of the issues she mentioned was that a lot. This is really sad, and this conversation took place off camera. I didn't get this on camera, but she kind of felt like the reason a lot of the people were there and they weren't doing so well was because they had fallen on hard times in life and they probably lived elsewhere in the country, and they have like good memories of Morecambe, so that's the place they gravitate towards. And unfortunately, when they get to Morecambe, the reality is there's not any kind of opportunities for them there. There's nothing for them to do, so they kind of just waste away in this seaside town. And they're really kind of really insightful, but also really quite sad. I have to depress myself there. But let's just have a look. Yeah, I was going to say between Morecambe and Blackpool, I was so surprised on how good the ride was. I didn't have high hopes, I'll be honest with you. But the surprising thing, I shouldn't really be hugely surprised by this. When you get outside of Blackpool or Morecambe, it's like instantly, this is some drone footage that I was capturing. It's just instant countryside. It's all really flat. You've got all your mud flats here, all this stuff. This is a dedicated cycle path coming down here. So you have literally, actually, this could have been a minor road, or I think it is cycle path. I can't remember. No, this is minor road. I didn't see one single car on it, but there is cycle path that follows this river all the way down. And then you've got bridges that go across it. All the mud flats are kind of inhabited by wildlife. So this is where I'm going to show my total ignorance when it comes to birds. But I saw like, I think they're called like spoonbill birds. Is that what they're called? Let's have a look. Yeah, it's like sandpipers, spoonbills. Yeah, kind of look like that. So birds like that, like really interesting looking birds just everywhere. Like the wildlife was clearly loving it. Now, this is this is me. I lost my drone. I lost where I was. I was having a bit of a panic here because it was very windy. I thought I might lose the drone. Let's have a look here. What else have we got? Oh, that's a Lake District. Here we go. Yeah, so here's a nice aerial shot of Morecambe here as well. I don't really know what you can see there. I assume you can see some of that. So yeah, I was really pleasantly surprised. And one of the highlights of the ride was, for me at least anyway, is between Morecambe and Blackpool, there is Fleetwood. And Fleetwood, again, that's another town with a bit of a reputation. I didn't find it too bad, to be fair. Again, when I got there, I could see a couple of the signs of antisocial behavior. But overall, everyone was just out for a nice day out. But it was one of the highlights. And the reason is because you've got to cross the river. And in Fleetwood, there is like a local ferry. And this ferry is basically like the bus for the locals. It's that kind of mundane to them. But for me, it was like a proper novelty. And getting on there was so good. I'll just see if we can find the footage for it. Open this up. G Drive. Rides 2026. Morecambe. 360 footage. Yeah, get it. I was so lucky. So this ferry runs like once every hour at 1:45. Where are we now? That's me. I got lost in a field. Yeah, and I literally just made it as the ferry was pulling in. So I was so lucky. There's not like an official timetable as such. Here we go. So there's not like an official timetable as such. I'll zoom in a little bit so you guys can see it there. You just go onto the Facebook page, but you can see everybody here is kind of, this was on a Sunday. So all the locals are all dressed in like the Sunday best. and they'll hop on the ferry and they'll go over into the center of Fleetwood and they'll have like a nice little day out on the other side. I got chatting to this guy here. He was just he was just on his way to Witherspoons, so he gets on this ferry all the time, back and forth. Uh, yeah, so when I got on this ferry, I was just running around, like filming everything, and everyone was looking at me like I was absolutely. This couple here were looking at me like I was bananas. It was like seeing somebody get on the bus and start getting really excited about being on the bus and filming everything. But for me, the novelty of going across the river on this, it was so good. Yeah. So this is a good thing about the 360 footage is I can just kind of scan around and do all that. Let's have a look here. Yeah, so this one's going to be a big job, this video. This is going to be a big job. That's probably my face there realizing how much work I have when I have to put this whole thing together, and a lot of work. Oh, I've taken some pictures by accident here. Hopefully that's not something I intended to film. Right, I'll show you a bit of Blackpool. Blackpool, it's kind of like love it or hate it. I've got so many good memories of Blackpool from being a kid. It's like one of the few places we could go to. Like it's one of the few places we went to. I was just checking the stream there. I'll leave this up. I know nobody's going to watch it live, which is fine. But I'll just waffle on anyway. So yeah, I've got such good memories of Blackpool from being a kid. Like we would literally, it was one of the few places like my mother would take us. Like she didn't take us anywhere, but there was like a neighbor who was like more outgoing and would do things. So she kind of encouraged us to take us to Blackpool. And we absolutely, we just went crazy. We used to go to the Pleasure Beach, go on every single roller coaster, every ride. Then we would head out and go to the little shopping center around the back. And then I'd go to the joke shop and I'd buy myself like a joke bar of soap or something. That was like back in the 90s. And there was all those back in the 90s as well. I don't know if anyone else will remember this, but there used to be all these street traders, which aren't there anymore. They've long gone. So I don't know if they've banned them or they just, I don't know, well, probably with good reason because they were all scammers. But they'd have all these games set up for you to play. I remember one of them was a lot of CDs. So there'd be a lot of CDs attached to pieces of string that people would you'd have to pull. You'd select a string to pull. And then, whatever CD kind of came up when you pulled this bit of string, you'd win it. But they'd have like all the popular CDs at the front, the ones that people actually want, like, like Oasis, Definitely Maybe, like all the big bands at the time would all be at the front. And at the back of it, they'd just be like these terrible CDs you would never buy in a million years. So obviously all the ones at the front you could never win. But yeah, I remember that. Let's have a look. Yeah, Blackpool. So I didn't once like go in on Blackpool because there are issues there. But if you go like again, it's one of those like if you go into like the back streets, like very quickly it falls apart like super quick. So here we go. So I'm just cycling around the back here. And I think at one point I stopped and filmed the house. This house looked a bit suspect. And I'm kind of sure, I'm sure somebody was following me after it. A guy in a silver car, just to see what I was up to while I was filming everything. I don't know if I imagined it, but I'll see when I film the footage. I thought once in I did a ride down the Bridgewater Canal and I finished in Castlefield. And I thought at the time there was a guy eyeing me up trying to like steal my bike. He was in the background and he was acting really suspiciously. And it nearly made it into the video because of how suspicious this guy was acting. He kind of walked up behind me. I walked away from my bike and then he started taking steps towards my bike, then steps away and back and forward. And I saw him in the kind of the view of the camera as I was talking to myself because there's like a preview. So I could see what was going on behind me. And then the second I turned around and walked back to my bike, this guy then shot off in the other direction. And I was convinced at the time, or that guy was eyeing my bike up, he was going to take it. When I was editing the video, I did a whole bit about it. And then I realized what the guy was actually doing was he was scared of some geese that were on the towpath. There's some geese blocking his way, Canadian geese. and he was trying to work out how to get around them. So he was obviously, this guy was clearly terrified of them. But in the moment, I saw his kind of weird action through this tiny little screen here, like staring back at me when I'm kind of like that, thinking there's a guy trying to steal my bike there. But yeah, that wasn't what it was at all. So sometimes, yeah, sometimes it's good to have stuff on film because it's not actually what you thought it was. But yeah, there's some like pretty, it falls apart pretty quickly when you go into the back streets. I do have some, let's have a look. Yeah, I'm sure. Oh, here we go. This is it. So if you look at stuff like this, it's kind of like when you're going past a lot of these old seaside relics, these places that clearly one day used to be like the place to go. But now they're kind of all flaking, crumbling, falling apart. Well, you can kind of imagine like maybe back in like, I don't know, what do you reckon this would have been big in the 70s here or something, 70s, 80s? But yeah, it's kind of like Blackpool's receded. So there's kind of like the core of it, which still has some of the main attractions, but it's like the biggest things have survived. And I think, you know, a few decades ago, Blackpool was so big, and that there was all these little businesses, independent traders, all these people who could survive. But as the economies got terrible, and the public transport as well. This is one thing I notice when I'm riding a bike as well, because I've got to get my bike to places. So I'm constantly looking at train tickets, train fares, that kind of thing. And it can cost me, well, it can easily cost me more than a flight overseas, easily, you know, to get some. Let's get to Blackpool. Like it cost me more to get to Blackpool than say if I went to the airport now and bought a ticket to fly to Amsterdam or something. I could fly to Amsterdam cheaper than I could fly to Blackpool. So then I could, you know, get a train to Blackpool. And that's a big problem. I'm not really that far from Blackpool either. So it's crazy how expensive it is to get around this country. And I reckon partly, I mean, that's one of the many things that's probably killed Blackpool, because imagine trying to get like a family of four there and how much that would cost you. So yeah, just not as many people are going anymore. There's not as much disposable income. And all these smaller places that sprung up, especially if they're out of the way and they're not in the center, well, they just kind of die, don't they? And look at that. Look how it makes for really interesting viewing. Well, it does to me as well. I mean, look at all these kind of rusty doors and this cracked paintwork. Really is interesting. That's why I love going around on a bike, because it's the best way to see where you're going through, because you kind of experience everything. It's not like you're locked away from it. Well, yeah, between Morecambe and Blackpool as well, especially when you get, well, from, especially between Fleetwood, yeah, between Fleetwood and Blackpool is literally just this the entire way. And so between Fleetwood and Blackpool, it's a lot more kind of barren like it is here, but it's still so much fun to ride down because you've got this traffic-free route, especially when you're kind of far away from both towns. There's not as many people around. And then when you get towards Blackpool, it becomes a lot more populated, but you start to get more things to look at, like more interesting sites. Let's have a look here. Yeah, I tried doing a few different camera moves. I don't know, how did this work? Oh yeah, that doesn't look too bad actually. What I did to get this shot is, I'm gonna make this bigger. You can see it. Yeah, so that's just kind of me from behind there, just cycling. And what I did was I extended this selfie pole and I just rode with it over the back of my the back of my neck like that. But it works quite well, that, doesn't it? It looks like little drones following me. Nice. I'll do that one again. Yeah. The great thing about filming these videos as well is you just see the amount of dirty looks you get. Just there. There's people looking at you like you're absolutely bananas. Look, even the dog's judging me. Yeah, and the good thing about the 360 camera as well is you can see what people are doing behind your back, which is interesting. Especially if somebody was to spit at you. Unfortunately, like that guy that spat at me. If you've seen that video, the Macclesfield Canal video, I call it spitting. He snotted at me. I don't know the correct terminology for when somebody projects snot at you. Yeah, if I would have had this angle, I would have known, I would have been able to capture him fully, but I had the camera at the front. I was able to angle the view round just to catch him doing that. But yeah, he was a horrible man. Yeah, so when you start to get like more sculptures and things, the closer you get to Blackpool, this is still quite far out here. Let's have a look. Got anything else interesting? Yeah, I found this. I don't know if this is going to make it into the video because I couldn't. I thought, God, I could do something cool with this, like get a shot of myself through it, but I couldn't work out how to position the camera. Look at that. That's just awesome, isn't it? That whole kind of metal. Nice. Right, okay, drone footage. Let's go through the drone footage. So new folder, drone. I haven't cleared this drone for a long time. I've still got footage on here from the Danube. I was too scared to delete it. But check out the Danube. I think some of this footage didn't make it into the video as well. But I'm kind of going off track here. But on the Danube, that had these huge kind of what do they call, like power station, hydroelectric dams, where they were pushing the entire river through these huge dams. I mean, they were so big, some of them. It was crazy, the scale. And I think they do like a lock system for the boats that go down and through. Let's have a look. What else have we got? Yeah, I was scared to delete the Danube footage because I was doing that for a sponsored video. I was terrified that somehow something would happen to the footage. So I made like as many copies of it as I could. And then I kept hold of what I had. I'll just find something else here. God, the Danube was so good. It's one of the best things I've ever done. I'm just trying to find anything interesting I can show you. Yeah, here we go. Here it is. So this is one of, can I zoom in on this? I can't zoom in on this one, can I? So this is one of the huge dams just along here. Absolutely massive. It has like a dedicated viewing point and like a whole tourist information board. And I noticed it was one that was really popular with the blokes. It was all blokes that were stopping to look at this, which, because there's quite a mix of people doing the Danube. It's like men and women. And I know I don't mean that to sound quite sexist. It's just that normally when I'm out cycling in the UK, I don't see a lot of lone women cyclists at all. Come to think, I think the majority of cyclists are men in the UK. And I'm not saying there aren't women cyclists. There are plenty of women cyclists and very successful ones at that. It just seems to be, I don't know, very male dominated, not sure why. But when I was on the Danube, it was a real mix of people, like even like people's grandmas just riding up and down the path, which was great to see because it kind of demonstrates how safe it is there, that everybody feels comfortable to ride around. Because I was doing a bit of research for a video I was thinking about making, which was one on kind of like cyclists' deaths, like in the UK, because it's kind of crazy, the statistics. And I was looking at one statistic, and there's a way of recording cyclist deaths. They do it per kilometer. So how many deaths or injuries per kilometer? So, the average cyclist, if they go 1 kilometer, if every cyclist went 1 kilometer, how many would die? And in the UK, you might not be surprised here. It's quite high. It's quite high compared to like other places. Like if you look at like Holland, Netherlands, that area, it's much lower. It's much lower. And when you go over there, like if you have a look at how people dress and you compare that to how people dress here in the UK. So in the UK, it's really quite often you'll see cyclists just covered in, bright, luminous yellow clothes and lights all over themselves. And then you go over to Holland and everyone's just wearing like black or, like a black coat and just standard stuff. And they're still faring much better than we are. Now I know there's lots of dedicated cycle paths and so on, but there's lots of nuance to it. So it's something I wanted to explore in a video because I like doing those kind of talking head videos where I just go into something. I've totally gone off the rails here. Let's have a look. Yeah. Okay. So crazy thing about Blackpool as well is there are so many aerodromes in Blackpool and so many like miniature airports. There are absolutely tons of them. So it is peppered with no-fly zones, and that's something as me as a drone operator, as a drone operator, I have to observe, because if I send my drone up into the sky and an aeroplane flies into it and the aeroplane crashes, or I damage the aeroplane, that's a very bad day for everybody involved. So this was as close as I was able to get to Blackpool and fly my drone. I couldn't get any closer than that because pretty much the entire sky over Blackpool is like no fly. So you might not even be able to see it here, but you can kind of see Blackpool Tower quite far away in the distance. But yeah, over Fleetwood as well, just so many, you could actually see the aircraft whizzing around as well. Lots of they almost look like Spitfires, like propeller driven aeroplanes. So yeah, that was a challenge. And also as well, when you've got your drone, you've got to be wary of wildlife as well. So if there's like a wildlife conservation area, you've really got to watch out for that. And then you've got places where there might be privacy concerns as well. So if you've got somebody who, if you don't want to go flying your drone directly outside a block of flats, like right up against the windows, because that's an invasion of somebody's privacy potentially. The great thing is I've got a 249 gram drone, and I'm not going to go into huge detail because I don't want to upset the drone buffs out there. But the regulations are like much less intense when you've got a light drone like this one. Look how tiny that thing is. It's so small. Like if that fell out of the sky and hit somebody on the head, you wouldn't even feel it. Well, you'd feel it, but it's just like literally somebody dropping an empty plastic box on you. It doesn't weigh anything, and it's great to fit in my pocket. But yeah, when you're going around and you're traveling and then you're trying to get drone shots as well, that adds like a whole other layer of complication to the thing, because it's not just as simple as flying the drone. You've got to stop. You've got to do all your checks. You've got to look around you. You've got to make sure nobody's coming from any direction. You've got to make sure there's nothing above you. You've got to be aware of like power lines, overhanging branches, all that stuff. Stuff that honestly, ordinarily, you don't realize how difficult it is until you actually start doing it. I mean, now it's like second nature to me. I do it all the time. But the amount of times when I first got this drone and I thought I'd checked everywhere, and then realized I was actually right under a power line or something, and I was just about to send the drone right up into it. That happened that happened quite a few times. Obviously, I never hit a power line, otherwise I wouldn't have the drone anymore. But you've got to think, three-dimensionally as opposed to like just that 180 around you. So yeah, flying a drone does add a total layer of complication. And people's dogs as well. You've got to watch out for dogs, because I'm a dog owner. I love dogs, so I'm not going to go on a total dog rant here. But there are some people who do not watch their dogs. Like if you fly a drone and a dog sees this landing, sometimes they'll just shoot after it. So you've got to be really mindful of where you fly it. Really mindful. Looking a bit dirty actually. Might be due for a clean. That. Oh, what's going on here? 7 files with the same name. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. That was weird. Yeah, another great thing about Morecambe as well is it's got these huge mud flats out here out at sea. So it makes for an absolutely fantastic sunset, sunrise. And then over there as well, you can see this here on the horizon. Just over there, that's the Lake District. So you can see the Lake District. You've got Lancaster over to one side. You've got Blackpool to one way. It's really well situated. Let's have a quick look. All right, so there's that. So I'm missing my 360, my Osmo footage. So my pocket footage. So we'll get that next, which is a bit odd. I was sure I'd transferred it. Well, we'll have a look. Put that back in there so I don't lose it. And that's going to be in here. So I'm going to get uncomfortably close for a second. You can look over there. Is it in there? Are you in there? Got ya. Got ya. There we go. Get that one in. I've got a feeling I've already transferred this. Yeah, maybe I haven't. Okay. Oh my goodness. I've got so many files here. This is what gives me real anxiety for the editing process, because when I've got this many files, I've got to watch all of these and see what it is I was recording. Actually, before I do that, oh, new folder, Pocket 3. There we go. What's going on here? Yes. Cut. Paste. There we go. So these are going to be huge files. So I've got the Pocket 3, which is basically, I'll show you. Now I got this because I wanted to start taking shots, not with my phone, because my phone camera isn't the best. The problem with the Pocket 3 I've found is this thing's a nightmare to like transport anywhere safely. Like a lot of the stuff I've got's robust to a degree. This thing's got a cover I have to put over the lenses, otherwise they'll get ruined easily. But that cover stays on. For the Pocket 3, the cover doesn't stay on. And it is this thing here. And I love it. The quality on it's amazing. Like the gimbal on it, it gives you lovely smooth action. It's just, I can't transport it anywhere without it falling out of its protective case or the gimbal getting pushed and moved around. The lens always kind of exposes itself when it's in the protective case. So it doesn't really matter that it's in the protective case. Anything that's rubbing up against it in your bag is going to scratch your lens. So I love this. I love it, hate it. I love it, hate it. It's probably not the best for what I do. I probably should have gone for something else. I'm going to guess there's a new model coming out soon that's going to fix all those problems. And it's got an infuriatingly long menu on it as well. Whenever you turn it on, like the menu will pop up and tell you how long the battery, how much battery's left on it. And it sounds like a small thing, but that thing stays on that little menu stays on there for like a good 5 seconds. And when you're just trying to stop somewhere and get a quick shot, then you've got to wait for that menu to disappear so you can see what you're doing. It's quite annoying. And whenever I do a shot, I hold it for like 10 seconds. So here we go. Right. Oh, here we go. Right. So there you go. So that's like literally, I mean, here is a bit of a dirty old trick here, but yeah. So that's like a back street of Blackpool. And you can just see there's just loads of rubbish stuff dumped everywhere. I'm sure I've seen this pub on another YouTube video. I am sure I've seen this on another YouTube video. There's like this guy who goes around like it's like the roughest pubs in England, and he goes for like a drink in them, and he'll just go in there and grab a pint. Well, the kind of thing I couldn't do. I'm sure he went in here. I'm sure he did. But yeah, oh my God, that place was so rough. It was really rough. Yeah, look how old that is though. That looks like something. I mean, it kind of like brings me back a little bit seeing stuff like this, because there used to be more stuff like this up on the walls, this kind of street art, like back in the 90s and 80s. So it does bring me back a little bit. So yeah, I use this just to get all my little static shots and things. So I'm planning to do like a little Blackpool compilation. Oh, hello. Well, there's people watching. So yeah, so I'm just going through my footage for Morecambe and Blackpool. I'm honestly like surprised when people are ever actually watching these things. So yeah, so I use this camera just for getting static shots. So I went around all the rock shops and things, and I've got this because I think that's going to like really kind of set the scene for it being Blackpool. And I can see this is the this is where I thought I kind of went a little bit all auditor when I was doing this bit, because I was in Morecambe and I was filming the outside of somebody's arcade, and I was just trying to film. They had like these great incandescent light bulbs, you know, the ones with the old filament going through, and I just thought, oh, that'll look really good to work into a shot. However, the shopkeeper was a little bit suspicious. The arcade owner was a little bit suspicious as to what I was up to, and she came out and started quizzing me on it instantly. And yes, I actually ended up stating I'm filming in a public place, but then we ended up getting into a very nice conversation after that. So it turned out quite okay. So that's the setup I did for the Morecambe to Blackpool ride. So I went for the whole frame bag. I have the pannier in there, so I had all my camera equipment and stuff in there. I always have this little pouch at the back, so in there I keep the spare inner tube, tools, that kind of thing. Snacks up in here, water in the frame. Let's have a look what else we've got here. See if I can find it. Here it is. Yeah, so this is the arcade I was filming, and I wanted to get like a real close-up of their light bulbs. And yeah, they were curious as to why I was filming the front of the shop, but it's because it's such a great looking shop. It's kind of got that, it looks like almost Sailor Jerry, that Sailor Jerry look. I don't know if that's the correct terminology, but you know, when you see those Sailor Jerry tattoos with like the thick, I mean, I like my tattoos with the thick black lines. So I kind of liked it, but yeah, she was understandably suspicious as to why I was filming. Let's see if we can get it here. But I was having a bit of trouble filming the light bulb. Here you go. So she came out. So yeah, I thought she was going to tell me off. And then we just had a great conversation. We had a really good conversation. And it turns out that she knows somebody who owns the arcade that's very close to me. But yeah, she told me all about the area, what's going on, the regeneration, all that kind of stuff. So it was a really interesting conversation. I reckon that will make it into the video. And of course, right, the Eric Morecambe statue. So I had to get a shot of this while I was in Morecambe. I mean, I suppose if you're young or you're not from England, you won't really know who Eric Morecambe is. But there used to be a show like Morecambe and Wise, and it's before my time as well. But it reminds me of like my Irish grandma. My Irish grandma used to love Morecambe and Wise. Like when I was like watching like Bottom, which is the kind of like the 90s, 80s kind of comedy. She'd be like, no. Morecambe and Wise, that's where it's at. You know, it's good humor. The rude without being too rude is what she used to say. Oh yeah, so they got that statue. But yeah, it's a really good statue. Another thing as well about this statue is, why can't they make statues that look like the people anymore? Like if you've seen that Ronaldo statue, that looks absolutely nothing like him. And then they were able to do these statues that look, you know, like back then, that look exactly like the person. But now we can't do that anymore. Yeah, so there we go. Right, so I'll talk you through what I do with my editing. we'll load this up. So I use DaVinci Resolve. So we'll load that up. So DaVinci Resolve's like super cool. It's a free bit of software, and it is so powerful. And the reason it's free, as I'm screen doing this thing again. The reason it's free is because DaVinci do like their own camera equipment, which I certainly could never afford. But this kind of software is, go away. There you go. This software is kind of made for the camera equipment. So it's sold as a package. So you get the camera equipment, you can do the free download. And I think it's kind of like a gateway into DaVinci. So it's great. It's a really powerful bit of equipment. You can do all sorts, and you can get special effects. You've got all your different layers. I'll show you in here. So you've got like really powerful color grading if you're in that kind of thing. Color grading, I used to do that early on in my videos, and I'm going to be honest, I don't do it as much now because I tended to find that my idea of color grading was just turning the saturation up and making everything look just sickly and over complicated. But if I go over to here, so let's find, this is my York Ghost Tour one. Find out. Let's have a look, find this text. There we go. So this York City at night text, like a lot, it's crazy. A lot of work went into doing that text, a lot of work. The great thing is this isn't like, so you'll get like a basic text box where you can just type the text onto the screen. But in Fusion, you've got the option to add these, where are they? These little Fusion tabs, and load it here. So you kind of get all your nodes. And then I can go in, I can add my text, I can add a soft glow 2, 3, 4. So I kind of build the soft glow up. Then I've got a prism blur effect applied to the text as well. And then on top of that, I've applied like a very minor camera shake to make it look like it's a projector. And the whole result, and this is all done in free software, bearing in mind. And I'm going to turn this up. Yeah, the whole result is that kind of projector effect. I'll get in full screen here. Yeah, so you've got that shake to the text, which is really good. And like all of these kind of effects and stutters and overlays and filters, these are all coming from DaVinci. All this stuff is in DaVinci. And the reason it took me so long to edit this York Ghost Tours video is because of all of these ghost stories that are in it. So I wanted to go in, tell the ghost stories, talk about where I was at. I don't know why I've got no volume on here. I don't know why that's happening. Why have I got no volume? I don't know. It's probably something to do with the live. I'm sorry if I'm deafening you and it's blasting at you. But yeah, I wanted to tell all these ghost stories and add all these effects in and just get it looking as convincing as possible and hopefully make it kind of interesting. Right, so let's start a new one, new project. What time are we on? 10 past 1, still good. All right, so we'll call this Morcombe Create. Let's bring all the Pocket 3 stuff in. So I'll just bring all this in for now. There we go. This is when the yeah, this is oh, she does not look happy there. Let's just have a quick look at this. This is when the shop owner came out to confront me about filming outside of a shop. Yeah, that's when I thought, yeah, I'm in trouble here. We're about to we're about to have an argument. It's about to kick off. But she actually is a very nice person. She turned out to be lovely, so there was no problems there. But yeah, that could have gone south quick. One of the many problems of filming out in public. I think one of the things people don't get about filming out in public as well, especially if you don't do it as such, it attracts a lot of attention. It attracts a huge amount of attention. Now, if you just stay on your bike and you have your front facing camera on and you're just filming, first person and that's it, and you're not stopping, then you probably get away with it. The majority of the weird interactions I have been from getting off the bike, doing bits to camera, or just filming weird stuff. Because I film weird stuff all the time because it may, and you might not even notice it in my videos, but most of the times it's only weaved in there for a second just to kind of show a few interesting elements from the area I'm in. But I'll stop and I'll be like, all right, cool, there's the tower, I'll film that. So oh great, I went past like an iron sculpture and I thought, oh great, that'll be good for doing like a little pass by shot, because this camera's got like a, where's it going? Oh, it's on there, isn't it? Then that camera's got a magnet on it, so I can just stick it on metal things. So I'll get off the bike, I'll go up and I'll stick the camera onto something and then cycle past it. But when you're doing that, that attracts a lot of attention from other people. So some people say like, oh, I've been cycling for years and I've never had a weird interaction with people. It's, yeah, because you're probably not cycling like I am. You're not stopping and sticking your camera to something and recording it and cycling past it and then circling back around, coming, grabbing the camera. And, people notice that weird, unusual behavior because it's not normal for somebody just to put a camera down, cycle around, pick it up, go back, get it, or like have all this stuff on the handlebars. So, and normally the people who are going to actually say something about it are the people you don't really want to be speaking to, the people you don't want to be speaking to most of the time. Sometimes it's, a great interaction. But I think I would minimize my weird interactions with people if I just stayed on the bike and didn't get those passing shots. I think one of the things when I do my videos is I kind of think, am I here to ride or am I here to film? Because my hobby isn't just riding. I've got a ridiculous amount of hobbies for a person. But one of my hobbies is editing, making videos, doing that kind of thing. And I regret it a lot if I get back and I haven't got like all my establishing shots, all these little things I can kind of weave into the narrative. It just makes life a lot harder for me, or I feel like I'm making a boring video. Now, it doesn't necessarily translate into success and views and whatnot, but it's kind of like I enjoy doing it, stopping and getting these little elements. And if it's something I want to talk about, like, antisocial behavior, fly tipping, that kind of thing, then, it's good to have, these videos capturing this kind of thing. I think that this is the, there you go. Yeah, this is the house I filmed where I'm pretty sure a guy followed me. Now, I'm not, there's the upstairs windows open there, and there was a very strong aroma coming from the building. So I don't know if, I don't know what that building's being used for, or maybe somebody was just having a good time in there. I don't know. Yeah, so I had to get a shot of me having fish and chips because my diet is shocking. This camera is like really unforgiving on your skin as well. Jeez, I look terrible. Yeah, so this is another shot on that ferry coming across the river. So I was just running around the boat, just getting shots. So this is a weird shot. This is the kind of thing that gets you, like, people are looking at you weird, like, why is this guy filming like the ramp and the stick and this rag? It looks weird, but when you work it into like a sequence, it kind of, I don't know, it kind of adds like a texture to the footage. It's just kind of building that texture up of where you're at. Because my problem is I'm trying to show people these journeys and these things I'm seeing, and sometimes I feel like a first person view isn't going to cut it. I want to show them, that when you are on a boat and you're looking over and you're looking down at the waves, that you go to the back and you're looking at this railing and watching kind of the wash from the back of the boat, all these weird little trinkets and peeling paint and rough metal textures, the sound and rumble of the diesel engine, all that kind of stuff that you could miss out on. So I'm really trying to to like show where I'm at. Yeah, and the cows, like a whole lot of cows here. Past somebody's garden, and you won't be able to see this. Sorry, there's like a load of chickens in there. I'll have to work out how to do this live streaming software. Yeah, so this camera, what this is for is for getting like the textures of the environment that I'm in. Let's go for 360. Yeah, I don't think this is going to be the most terribly informing. Which kind of might be interesting for people to watch. I don't know. Oh, people are watching. Okay. I've been a ride to Lymm, and the canal has destroyed by bad weather. Do you know? I went over the Lancaster Canal. I did go over the Lancaster Canal. It was part of the route, and I could see like how bad the towpath. The towpath was absolutely destroyed. It was boggy and awful. I want to do the Lancaster Canal. I want to do it soon, so hopefully I will be doing that soon. But I've also done a ride to Lymm as well. Recently, and that was destroyed. What am I talking about? Lymm. I'm confusing it with Lytham. I was thinking of Lytham. Sorry, Lymm is on the other side. Yeah, Lymm. I've done a ride to Lymm as well. And that was Bridgewater Canal then, wasn't it? Lymm, Bridgewater Canal. And I don't think a lot of those surfaces are paved in that area, are they? And I think in that area as well, near Lymm, they don't allow you to cycle on the canal as well. I just think it's a bit mean. Yeah, how's your day going, mate? Going pretty well, mate. Spencer, I'm just killing time. I've edited 2 videos in a row. I've done my York Ghost Tour video, and I have done the Destination Show video. And I can't do any more editing. So I just thought I'm just going to throw a live stream up, and I'll do that. Blackpool is a creepy place. It reminds me of Rusholme or Longsight. Kind of, yeah. Rusholme. I think I've not really been to Longsight, but I've been to Rusholme a lot, like in my youth. I used to go there a hell of a lot in my youth. Like every night out, used to end up in Rusholme. I think that is where the Curry Mile is, isn't it, Rusholme? But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a bit harsh on Rusholme. That I think Blackpool might even be worse, depending on where you go. Let's have a look. The average user doesn't understand how much time goes into editing. Yeah. My 11 video was 2 days. I guess if I did it a lot, it would be faster. But from my favorite, but it's far from my favorite things to do. Yeah, it's really true. I enjoy it. I start out editing something, and I get really excited about it. Especially when I did the York Ghost Tour one, because it was something new, it was different, and the Destinations Holiday Show one that I've just did, that was so much fun at the start, but then quickly it just wears you down. There's so much time gone into it. I've got this mouse recently. Actually, it's this Logitech mouse. This isn't like, there is like a Logitech Masters mouse, but this is like the gaming one, and it's got all these buttons on it. So what I've done is I've programmed like shortcuts into it, so I can cut the timeline if I want to by pushing the mouse roller that way. I can copy, paste. I can select everything after the roll ahead by pressing that button. Delete things. Undo button is right there. So I've done something I don't like, I can undo it. So I've found that actually it sped things up a little bit, but not a huge amount. And then I've got down here, I've got this little drawing tablet thing, which I'm using as a second screen. So what I'll do is I know there's like buckets and things you can use in DaVinci, but I will drag my folder down there, and then I'll have the folder there, and then my editing thing there, and I can just kind of drag things up into that timeline, which does a good job. Okay, can we get them likes and subscribe to show you some support for the channel? It really helps. Yeah, it does really help. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, lovely of you to say that. Thank you. Yeah, let's get those likes and subscriptions. Yeah, I always feel a bit self-conscious saying that. It's strange because I put it into my I always put it in my cycling videos, like because I do like an intro to every cycling video, and I will always put on like and subscribe at the beginning of it. but it feels more natural doing it in a voiceover. Let's just show you. Let's have a look. Yeah, I'll show you this mouse here. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, so you can just see the amount of work that's got into this, all these different cuts, these different clips. Like every one of these is a decision. Every one of these is a decision. I've got my overlays, my maps, and then my logo. I mean, I'm just absolutely waffling on here, so apologies to anybody who's watching. But yeah, I designed, so I taught myself everything I do everything myself. I don't have like an editor. I don't have like anybody who has trained me how to do this. This is all from like watching YouTube videos and training myself and teaching myself. Like, you know, when I was younger, I was in college. I did some media when I was in college. But, you know, it was back then, like we were cutting, you'd do it on 2 tapes. You'd have 2 tapes and a little roller wheel and you cut everything. It was nothing like doing it on this. So I have to teach myself everything. And I reckon, you know, if anybody's watching this, and you're all YouTubers as well, you'll know the struggle. But this I'm particularly proud of, because I had to teach myself how to do animation to work this. And I taught myself Photoshop to make the elements for it. And then I taught myself this editing software to do all this. It's such a simple thing, but I wanted a cool looking logo, and it's kind of evolved a little bit over time. I kind of go back to it and redo it and learn how to do things. But yeah, like editing, it's just, it's a lot of work. So let's have a look, see here. Right, we'll go into the 360 footage. That one's a dud. Turn that down just in case it's playing, because I have a really bad habit of talking to myself, like a really bad habit of talking to myself. So half the time I'm on camera and I'll just be muttering away. I'll just be saying something. It's not even relevant. I like usually swearing to myself as well about something. Here we go. So create. Oh yeah, it's all good, this 360 footage, until you've got to get back and move it all around. So let's have a look. So you can go right out and you get that kind of cool kind of globe look, which is an interesting effect. Or you can go right in. Let's change it to HD. I'll do that about there. Set myself a keyframe. Right down here at the on the timeline, you can set a keyframe, and now the camera will stay in that direction. It's not going to move anywhere. And then that looks good. And you see I've moved there, so I've got to move the camera over to my face. So let's just see if it follows me. Yeah. And then what I might even end up doing is exporting this clip a couple of different times. So what I might do is export it from this angle. And then once I've done that, then I might export it again from that angle. So I've got the view of the beach, or I might export it from that angle. So I've got the view of the beach over there. And then I kind of clip all that together and edit it together. So it's kind of looking like I've had several cameras on site and I've been filming from lots of different angles. It makes it look, how I feel, like a little bit more professional. But this is why I keep running out of space on my hard drive, because I've got like a ton of hard drives plugged in over there. Is because I hoard this footage and I don't really know what to do with it. So I don't know whether to get some big kind of like hard drives to start storing everything on long term. But you know, all that starts adding up and costing money. So quality is my priority. Change. So export that into this folder. Show Morcombe Blackpool. Select folder. Export. Okay, so that'll export. And then normally what I'll be doing is I'll be on to the next one. And then look at all these. That's one down, 1 million to go. That's before you even start editing. This is just basically going through and setting the angle. So there we go. So I've decided here, this is one of these shots. It's kind of like one of those skits they do on Instagram, like, you know, what every travel person doesn't show you. So this is me putting my camera down just so I can do a thing where I set off, so you can just see me cycling off. Like struggling to set off there. Yeah, so I might do it that way. Pull that down there. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get it so I disappear off screen. It looks like I had a bit of I was in the wrong gear when I was setting off there in this one, so I'm just kind of floundering around. Go on, cycle off the screen, cycle off the screen, cycle. Yes, that'll do. Right, we'll have that. Right, let's export that. Export. So this is at some point I am going to have to go and put my volume because I need to hear what I was saying. They've got half the stuff I talk about doesn't make it into the videos as well. Like, I'm just talking for so long about absolute nonsense. But yeah, Morecambe, really nice place. I actually enjoyed it for a day. I did go like 10 years ago and I had a pretty terrible time. Just because, not a terrible time, it was just depressing. I just found it quite depressing. This day I found it like peaceful. Yeah, so like yeah, just peaceful, good mood. Sunday, everyone, good vibes. Everybody's out for a walk, having a nice time. Looking at looking at my camera. Guy talking to himself. Yeah, just nice. Okay, right, let's have a quick look. Anything else going on? And I think, oh, there's still people watching. Hello. Right, let's keep going then. We'll keep going. What I can probably edit easily on here, actually, with people watching, is my drone footage. I get my drone shots done. Why not? They're the fun ones anyway. Let's drag those into DaVinci. Oh, that's not a drone shot. That is a, where's that come from? This is from my bike packing kit video. That's weird. We're in the wrong one. No, drone stuff. Try that again. How bizarre. Okay. Let's have a look. So I love the drone for establishing shots. Really good to like establish the location. Like if I want to talk about the mud flats, I've got this awesome little view of the mud flats. So that's good. Got an awesome view of Morecambe there. So the town, nice shot of the beach, the seafronts. So that's good. Well, that's right. Okay, then I've got a moving shot. Excellent. Another one. I think I lost my drone here at some point as well. I did have eyes on it, and then I blinked and I couldn't see it anymore, and I got lost because I am stood somewhere around. Yeah, I'm stood near this car park here, and I couldn't see the drone where it was. Yeah, here we go. So this is what I'm talking about in terms of the estuaries that are outside of Morecambe. Look how gorgeous that is. these huge mud flats, all the wildlife, the birds, everything in there. And then you've just got dedicated cycle path just running alongside it. I was really impressed with this ride, to be honest with you. I saw quite a few people on the cycle paths, but when I got away from those, like the quiet streets, I was surprised I didn't see anybody. I mean, it was freezing that day, so maybe that's why people weren't out. But yeah, look at that. So nice. That one can go. That's no good. Right. That's no good. That's just a shot of my feet. Okay, right, we'll stick the drones over there. And you can see like the state of my hard drive. So C drive full, G drive full, that's the removable SD card. That's almost full, almost full. So yeah, it's looking pretty shocking. Let's see if we can find any other passing shots. Now, I probably want to do it in order. Right, I'm probably going to leave it there anyway. So thank you so much for watching. Let's have a look. Oh, message was redacted. Okay, I won't see that. Okay. Yeah, I'm probably just going to leave it there because, I mean, I don't really know what more I can do. I'm going to have to go in there, edit all the footage and listen to all the audio. You'll just be watching me just losing my soul, going through all of this 360 footage and setting the angles and such. But yeah, I'm just gonna go. I might as well go on my little thing about this drone. I'm so glad I bought this drone. This is like probably I made the best decision. I bought the DJI Neo, the first Neo that came out before I bought this, and I ended up returning it because I realized quickly after I bought it, and this was a really unpopular opinion at the time, but I realized it was a gimmick. The thing was a gimmick, and now I can guarantee that DJI Neo 2's just come out. That DJI Neo 1 is going to be a paperweight on most people's desks because the thing is, it didn't ship with a controller. You had to get the controller separately. The footage quality on it wasn't great. You couldn't really fly it high. You couldn't get it, you really could fly it high, but it was super noisy as well. It was really whiny. It did like a great thing where it would track you and follow you. Like this one won't track you and follow you when you're moving. But once you've got that, yeah, all your drone shots look exactly the same. It's just a shot of like the back of you close up with the drone. And I was like, this thing's a gimmick. So I sent it back and I got this, and this is the DJI Mini 4K, not the Mini 4 Pro. I mean, the Mini 4 Pro, my God, I'd love that. But this is just the Mini 4K. It will track you if you're stationary. It'll track stationary objects. It'll do that. I did that. I've done that once or twice. The only problem, I accidentally crashed my drone into a hill when I first got it doing that. So I'm very reluctant to do it, especially because I'm filming in places that I don't know much about. I don't know the areas. So I daren't send this drone up and have it like circling around me because there might be a power line or a tree or a branch or something I'm not kind of taken into account. And then if you do it that high up anyway, it's not really worth it. So I just send it up into the sky, get a stationary shot of, have the drone stationary and just have me going past it, use it like a stationary camera, or I'll just send it up into the sky and do like more of a dynamic shot where it's kind of moving, and I might zoom in while I'm going backwards, that kind of thing, just to try and get like some pull, do some interesting effects. But the camera quality on this is good. This cost me just, when the DJI Neo was out, this cost me just as much as the DJI Neo. So who knows? There's a job coming up I've got for YouTube. Potentially I'm going to get paid for it. Potentially, which would be cool if it did. So I don't know whether it's happening yet because it's all up in the air. It's, I never like to announce these things until they actually happen. But if I get paid for this job, I'm considering investing the money back into the channel and getting the DJI Neo 5 Pro. I might do. I mean, that would be a really extravagant purchase. Just the camera's so good on it. and the tracking's great. I might even go for the 4 Pro. I don't know, because that'd be cheaper. Maybe even trade this in. Because I like doing these videos. I don't think I'm going to stop doing it, and having a drone is worth it for me. I like the fact when the less than 249 grams, that gives me, you know, a lot more leniency in terms of the regulations and rules. Although I have always had this registered, I've always had a pilot's license for this as well. So I've actually gone and done a test, got a license. I wasn't sure whether I needed to do that at first, to be honest with you. I think you do need to do it now because the regulations have changed, because lots of people misusing drones. So I've always had a license for this. So I do take it seriously. I do try to do it properly. So yeah, so I think I'm going to keep doing this channel, keep doing what I'm doing. So I think maybe investing in a new drone wouldn't be a bad thing. However, the camera quality on this, I'm not mad at it, to be honest with you. Not mad at it at all, because all my stuff is done on like action cameras anyway. So it's not like the drone quality is really good. To me, it's really good. I think to the untrained eye, this drone, the quality of this drone, the video footage, no one's going to bat an eyelid. Now, I think your camera professionals are going to look at it and be able to tell that, oh, it's a bit too sharp, and maybe the color range and color values aren't as good as they could be. But your average person, me included, looks at this footage and it's fine, and it merges really well with like footage from this, because this, although this is like a really cool bit of kit, this camera, this DJI 360, really cool bit of kit. However, you know, it's not like I'm shooting alongside a DSLR camera that has, you know, a full frame sensor with insane quality that I then need to match the quality with the drone. So it's kind of like, it's not jarring when you cut between the two qualities. However, I don't feel there's a huge problem with the quality jumping between these two. But always nice to have a new toy, isn't it? It's always nice to have a new toy. So I'm not going to say no to a drone if I don't have to. Have a look in here. And I'm, you know what, I said I was going to go, but I'm just kind of like chatting away with myself, aren't I? This thing, have you had, I was going to ask you, have you ever had a bat hit you on the head on a bike ride? Like a physical wooden bat, or like a squeaky bat? Or is that, you know, some sort of reference to my cognitive abilities? I don't get what we're saying there. No, I haven't anyway. Not a wooden bat, nor a live bat. But yeah, this this drone controller, I hate this drone controller. This drone controller sucks so bad. It's the one downside of this drone. It's terrible. The reason is this wire here. So what you've got to do is every time I stop, I like to try and stop, get the drone up quickly, and get it in the sky, and then move on. Then there's obviously all the checks I've got to do, risk assessments, make sure I'm not going to hit anything, so on. And that's why I carry it around in this, because I found that if the drone was tucked away somewhere, I really dislike having to stop for a long time to set everything up. So if it's kind of strapped around me and I can reach in here and pull everything out, that's great. But this controller sucks. So I've got to stop, take this phone. There's just a picture of my dog there. Then you've got to plug this into here. You then turn the drone controller on. Ooh, yeah, there you go. So it'll then fire the phone back out at you. Sometimes that happens. These kind of like little prongs will then push down on the lock screen thing, so it kind of unlocks your phone. When you want to take it apart and put it back together, the wire gets trapped in here, so then you end up like damaging the wire. It sucks. It really sucks. And another thing about it as well, I think this is kind of all DJI controllers, is it's made to, these little joysticks come out so you can pack it away nicely and neatly. But I don't have time when I'm on the road, when I'm cycling, to be, you know, taking this thing apart and putting it back together all the time. And these things drop out. Like I have these little joysticks are littered all over the world from me. I've left like one of these on every continent. I mean, I'm exaggerating there, but there's one of these in Portugal somewhere, where I left this in Portugal. Like, it dropped off the controller. There's one of these on the Isle of Skye, in the mountains somewhere, like literally there is. And there's probably one of these on one of the canals I've ridden as well, because I'm always dropping these things and losing them. I can't stand them. Right. Okay. Right then. Right. I'm just going to go now. So thank you very much for watching. If you watched, and yeah, have a good day. All right. You can watch me jab at this now, working out how to turn this thing off. What do you do? Oh, end live stream, big button right there. All right. See you later. Bye-bye.